Hey guys, Jake Willow here, the Habitat Pro. We're going to show you a couple of ways to set up your Silky Willow screening lines. I love these. As long as the deer aren't going to eat your screening, that is the screening you want to plant, and these are not going to be browsed heavily by deer, so they're exactly what we need. And in Minnesota, northern climates, you just cannot rely on switchgrass alone. You have to layer in your screening. So this is going to be one level of screening. We're of course going to have spruce on the outside of this, but then we'll have switchgrass on the inside, and that'll be our 3 layers of screening. But we got the Silkies going, and to show you that today on a couple of different properties, show you how you can set them up differently, and one of those ways is really going to save you some money. So if this is of any help to you, please like and subscribe. Let's get after it here on the channel today. Here we go. That is a couple of lines of Silky Willows, and what we're hoping to have here in the future is a tunnel. And the idea is the owner will be able to, from the farmhouse, which is right behind me, he'll be able to look out over this plot, and if there's any deer in it, he'll be able to plan his route down to the plot. So let's say they often come out of the dogwood on this left side, right? So if they were down there, the owner would walk this line right here all the way down, and he'd be inside of the tunnel, and of course able to stalk or do whatever he needed to do to get down there. And if he had deer in that plot over there, he would be on the other side. But the idea here is we just went with 2 single rows at 4-foot spacing, and the reason we did that is because this is a linear in line with where the deer are screen. Okay, so you can tell that this is going to be a pretty solid wall, even though our cuttings are a single row 4 feet apart, because on this particular plot we don't need to screen to the side, right? But we've got another plot, and I'll show you that one here in a moment, where Tom and Seth and the guys put in a screen, and we tightened them up a bit because we need to screen perpendicular to the screening line. I'll show you that one here in a moment. So now this one's a little different because where we need to screen from, as far as the sight line, it's perpendicular to where the deer are, right? So there's the deer out in front of us. So we've got to go left to right. We're not walking towards where the deer are. So on this one, you notice here, we went 4 feet in the row, but we went with another staggered row to block that. So eventually this will be that solid wall right here, and then there's the blind, and I expect right on the inside of this there's going to be a travel corridor coming through this little batch of broken pines here, going through, because that is our food plot area out in front of us. Okay, so these bucks are going to get about a 40-yard strip of cover inside of the primary screen. So that's going to be the perfect travel corridor for them, perfect travel corridor width for them to scent check this plot from the downwind side, and puts them right in view of our hunter, whether he's there or whether he's up on the other end. You can see the other 12-point blind there in the trees. So this one is going to be gravity fed, irrigated. You can see the big tank there on the trailer. So let's take a specific look at this irrigation system. This is gravity fed, so we picked the high point on our elevation map. And we've got those T's where they're coming in, and that ties into the drip line. And the drip line's going both ways, and we've got them not right on the cutting, but near enough. Okay, and then there's the other line, and you can see we're running 2 independent lines, but they come here to a Y because the water is just going to push. That's all it's going to do from this high point here. And then we've got an inline filter, PVC fittings, and that is open. And this is a 500-gallon tank, which should give us some pretty good water. And this is just a A great setup, quick one for anything you've got with drip lines, you know, bringing it to and from an area where you don't have any water on site. This is just a fantastic way to get her done. So another thanks to Tom and Seth and the crew from Big Rock Trees. This one I'm really excited about because you can see the pines grew well, but when the bummer of these Norways, and any pine really, is you completely lose your screening value once they hit about 10 feet tall. They just start trimming off their own bottom branches and they really run for it up top. But they're pretty much garbage for screening, and then they turn into a timber tree. So you really got to have your spruce going. So this screen is great because there's the food plot right out in front of us. Here's the 12-point blind. Connect with me if you're interested in those. Those are great blinds. It's another one of those Amish builds. So it's partitioned so you can see every one of those as a panel on those blinds. It's really easy to put up. You can just build it in place so you can bring those back into the middle of a swamp and just carry them back there piece by piece. They're awesome. But you can see this right here is what I'm excited about, because we've got our earth blind water hole and that screen now. You can see the fabric for the Silkies. That screen is eventually going to be, you know, 8, 10, 12 feet high. So it's going to completely hide his up and down. And then we've got deer coming from there out of the plot. Some of these spruce trees are going to get moved to complete these screening lines on the backside. And then another beautiful muzzleloader spot on the east side over there of the property, looking at about 5 acres of food plots eventually. So, all right guys, hopefully that was some help to you. Remember, it's going to be different if you have to screen perpendicular to or parallel to wherever your deer happen to be. You can really save yourself money if you're walking in line to where your deer are. If you've got a long easement, something to that effect, get yourself that tunnel going. Highly recommend getting woody vegetation going for your screen. Do not rely on switchgrass at northern latitudes. It is going to crap out at the wrong time for you. If it's all by itself and that's what you're relying on, I highly recommend you get something else planted that is woody structure, going to stand up to snow and wind. It's going to be there for years to come. This is Jake Bill, the Habitat Pro. We are in northern Minnesota. Get out and enjoy creation, guys. Good luck this season, and God bless.